My YouTube channel. My name is Steve. I'll be your instructor this evening. For those who are just getting started and joining this for the first time, you're going to find stuff on here more recently for the Commodore 64, but there are videos on here for the Atari 8-bit computer as well. What I've decided to finally do, I've been kind of juggling with this, trying to figure out where to get you guys started, is I'm going to kind of go backward, just like I did with my Atari stuff, and kind of take you to the basics. I think maybe going over some special stuff will kind of get you guys inspired to start doing your own stuff. We're still working on the game design on the side for now, but I want to kind of really get you guys into seeing how the Commodore 64 really works. Like, for example, in this program, I'm going to show you a lot about screen addressing and stuff like that. And I think if I give you a lot more examples with it, that maybe that would be easier to help you guys get started and inspired writing your own programs. So let's get started. Okay, so we got obviously I'm using WinVice here. We're going to be starting with a blank program. There's nothing in memory here. I could just type it in, right? Oh, actually, I do have a program in here. I'm going to erase that. We don't need that now. I was just using an example for a newsletter I'm working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to, we'll just call this Ascii characters. First of all, let's kind of understand what Ascii characters are versus screen characters. Very important to understand, because Ascii characters, anything you see that you can type on the screen like that, that would be an Ascii character. So if you type like a print and you put something inside of it like that, seem to be accessing stuff other than I want to, it'll show you that Ascii character. Now if I type this in screen memory and I try to send this one into screen memory, this is a way to cast it into the screen. I can get that typed in correctly there. So to show you the character code there, you see it's the same thing, and what you do here is you can kind of represent to see what this Ascii character is. That's what that Ascii stands for. Stands for Ascii. So right there, it's character 36. So this little dollar sign you're seeing is actually memory is actually character 36 in your Commodore 64. I'm going to see if I grabbed all the right books here that I'll need. I think it's way over here. Oops, sorry guys, I thought I had everything. 1 second. Forgot everything was all the way on the other side of the couch. I was like, okay, I can't reach it from here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking up the Ascii characters to kind of get you guys started and, kind of explain the basics and stuff that you need to understand about it. So we have Ascii character 36 here, so I'm going to do the famous holding up the book thing, so kind of bear with me on that a minute. We're going to zoom in, and just for those who want to know, the book I'm using is a Commodore 64 system guide. It's basically the owner's manual for the Commodore 64. And what I'm doing is I'm going to Appendix D here in the back, and I'm looking at, these are all the memory locations in the Commodore 64. So you see right there where it says 36, I'll zoom in on it a little bit. I'll take a second there. You see where it says 36, and look right beside it, you see the dollar sign. So that's how you know the screen codes that you're going to poke into memory, is by having the correct Ascii character on your screen there. You don't have to pay attention to that B and all that stuff. That's just other ways of accessing your character set. Different ways of, I think I put the inverse or whatever. But anyways, that's what I wanted to show you. So what you're basically looking at is all the characters that you can type on your computer that are stored in memory. So like I said, anytime you want to see one, just type in print ASC, and then you put it in quotes, the letter, and it'll show you. And then once again, you can project that to the screen. Actually, this is where I wanted to show you something different. You notice this time it didn't project an A to the screen. It projected that little funny character at the top. That's because these characters, I'm trying to see where it's at. 31, 32, is it 33? Maybe it's 64. I think it's 64, yeah. These characters are being stored in 64. These characters are how do I explain this to you guys? This is the Ascii character A, but when you're poking into memory, they're stored in a different way than they would be in the Ascii character set. Now, sometimes you'll get them like that little dollar sign that do look correct, but if you try to type in the A, obviously you're going to get a 65. So if you go here and you type in a 1, you'll see that that's the A. If you type in a 2, you'll see that's a B. And I wrote it wrong in this book, but notice I just did that. But that's basically how the character set is. An easiest way to do it is to take the 65, subtract 64 from it, and you can see the value that it's originally supposed to be outputting. And I think that's only for the, I think it's only for the letters, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see if 26 is, it should be the Z. Yeah, 26 is a Z, so make sure you understand that. I mean, that's pretty basic stuff for you. Let's go back to the program here again. We're going to do a control. For those who want to control page up, we'll do the system restore, like run stop restore, so you can get your screen all cleared again. And then we're going to start, we're going to set up a location here and kind of keep track of them here. I guess I'll just start it with A or X or whatever, it doesn't matter. And just start it at 1 here. My keyboard's acting really funny here. And I wanted to kind of show you a way we can, we're going to basically, I'm going to show you how to walk through those characters in memory. This is going to be a kind of a little utility program, I guess you could call it. So we're going to, first of all, let's go ahead and clear the screen here. Now, let me demonstrate this too, because people are going to say, okay, what's the 147? You know, where is that coming from? Well, also in your Ascii character set, they store not only the characters, they also store specific calls. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. This one's really hard to see. Where's my pen when I need it here? Okay, so you look up here to 147. Let me find it myself. Okay, so it's right in the center there. It's like right over here. See right there, it says 147. I know you probably can't see that, but it's clear screen. So that's the clear. There it goes a little. Maybe a little closer. You can see it. Look at that. It's like a kind of nice viewfinder. I can't even see it with my own eyes, but this camera's kind of picking it up there, sort of. So it's a clear screen though. That's how you clear the screen. Now if you try to go in here and you type in the poke 1024 count 147, you're not going to get a clear screen. You're going to get the character for the home. This is actually the home character is what this is. I think if you even subtract 64, you might get it. Let's see. Find the minus key. Now that's the hard character. So they're not all stored very specifically that way, but the 64 usually will pick up, like I said, it'll pick up the alphabet characters, but this is the home character, so those who want to know, you just type in print, and you just hit the home button on your regular PC, and it'll produce it like that, and it'll move the cursor at the top. Watch. See, I moved it up here and inserted the ready prompt, but if I had it in a program, it would actually be at the top of the screen there. So let's go back and clear the screen here. And we'll start working on this little, now that I showed you that, let's go ahead and let's just do the regular clear screen here. You just hold down the shift and you press the home and it does the same thing. This represents the PETSCII 147. I can do this right. Oh, you just hit the shift. I was trying to hit the tab key there, so you hit the force of habit there. So now you've got the print. Now that's the same thing, those who want to know, as print CHR strings 147 per clear. So now we'll turn the cursor, just to kind of make it a little bit fancy here, we'll change the color of the background border or something like that. That'll change it to red there. See, we got a little red border there. Oops. Access the internal tape drive there. Okay, let's see. I still try to get used to typing the PC in relation to the Commodore 64 keys. I still don't have all those memorized, so sometimes it's hard to type in stuff. But anyways, let's go ahead and position the cursor. So memory locations 211 and 214 are how you go ahead and position your cursor. I always get these backwards, so I'm going to look them up real quick here. I think 211 is the column. Yeah, 211, I got it right. That's the column, that's the line. And 214 is the physical line number, how far down you want to make it. So I always just say 211, how far you want, this is basically saying how far do you want the cursor positioned on your screen. So if we want to center it on the screen, you can just do something like 40 divided by 2. That will center the screen. And then you just type into poke 214 how many lines down you want it to go. Let's say 8 or something like that. And then right after that, you type in a print, whatever the message is that you want to print to position on the screen. I'll show you an example. I'll put my name on here and then run it. Actually, I must have did that wrong. Let's see here. Maybe I had them backward. Let's see. Let's see, 214, 211. Well, I moved it down. Oh, no, that was right. I just didn't move it over far enough. I was like, okay, wait, why isn't that working? I only moved this at 8. That's my bad. So this one is actually the centered screen, I think. Let's see. 211. I'm just going to put a value in here now. 12 or whatever. See, poke, poke, print, print, poke. Trying to see what I did wrong here. I think you have to reverse it. If I'm not mistaken, I think it has to be this way. I've always seen the programs do it one way, and I've always wondered why they did it. Now I'm beginning to see why. So let's see what that does. Ah, there it is. So you have to, for some reason, you have to use the 214 first. I guess it's the high and the low byte kind of thing. So it needs the high and the low byte. So the 214 has to be first, and then you put this one second, and then you can get the screen to position there. So now you can kind of see it's positioned in the center of the screen there. So okay, so I didn't just want to put my name on there. I just wanted to show you how that's done. This is going to, like it's kind of a tutorial series here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say character Ascii, that's for Ascii character, and then we're going to start a place in memory a variable, which I already got an X here. I'm going to use a different variable. I don't know why I always use X. MX is good. I like MX. Like moving X or something. So we'll start it at MX. So if we run the program, you'll see right there it shows the 1. So it's going to allow us to go through memory, and we're going to be able to see what that location is as we go through it. My nose is really itchy. All right, so I'm going to set up another line here. So what you want to do is you want to set up another line, 214, comma, I'll make it 9 underneath it or something. You always put the print in the center there to get them positioned correctly. And then, I don't know how far over that is. Let's see, that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, probably about 20 or so. Maybe about 20. And then you print in the MX, oh, excuse me, the CHR strings MX. So we're looking, let me show you what that does. If you take the MX and you put a 1 in it right now, and you type print CHR strings 1, well, it's not going to show anything because remember, there's no character for 1. So we'll use a one that actually does show up in the character set. So one we did earlier was 36. So print CHR strings 36. And there you see the $sign. So that's basically what that other line is doing right here. This is just printing out the character graphic for this. And what did I do? Just erase it here? Yeah, I just erased it. Okay, so let me put it back on there. Alright, so 214, show how many lines down. So it's 8 now. It's going to be down the 9th line. How many lines over? Put it at 20. Yeah, I forgot to type it in there. Leave it in there. Okay, so there. Now we got it positioned there. It should show up right. Let's see where it went to. Did it go on top of the other line? Let's move it down another line here, see what happened to it. Okay, so I see the 1. Oh, I forgot to change this. We still got the 1 showing here. So 1 isn't going to show anything on the print graphic character, so we're not going to be able to see that. So what we need to do is we need to start that at a more accessible one that's actually in remember the character set I was showing you earlier in the Commodore 64 book. So we need to find one here that will display on the screen, which the A starts at, well, I know it starts at 65. I was trying to see the actual character. First one we can see is actually 33. So I'll do 33, and you'll see what that is here. Now I'll run it, and you'll see it. There it is. So that's showing you the Ascii character for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position it beside the other one instead of leaving it over there. We'll leave that on line 8, and we'll move it over 20. Let's see where that ends up at. Oh, not far enough. It kind of squished in the middle there. So we're going to kind of move that cursor over a little bit here. Put about 25. Now we see we got it positioned at line 25 there. So if you want to know what that means for those who are new to this, just count over from where we positioned the last one, which was at 12 here, and count them. 12, 13, 14, well, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this was at 20, 21, 22, 23. Maybe I'm off by a little bit, but that's how it's positioning the character. And there's a space in between the 33, of course. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to increment through the character. So we're going to set up a little routine here to do that. I'm trying to think if it would be easier to do it with the characters or a joystick for those who don't have a joystick. Maybe we could just use the keyboard to do it or something. It escapes me right now how to do that at the moment. I'm going to come upon it here in a second. Let's see. Current foreground text. I get such a habit of doing things with the keyboard. I mean, with the joystick, I often forget what the keyboard really does on the Commodore 64. Now, I'm real familiar with it on the Atari, but it might be one thing I need to brush up on my Commodore. Let's see, was a stop key press? I know one of these is going to keep track of the keys. There's the clock. Number of characters in keyboard. Well, I think it's 198. Let's see, 198 keeps track of the keyboard. I know it's around here somewhere. Heck, it's probably close to that 200. Press F1 to escape quote mode. Wait, what's this one say? Flag input keyboard or screen to indicate which input is available on the screen. The line should be obtained from the keyboard. By golly, it's here somewhere. I wanted to show you guys how to use the keyboard as an example when you're pressing a key on the Commodore. I'm almost tempted to go pull up one of my programs and look at it. I know it's around here in zero page somewhere. You get a lot of stuff that's actually in zero page, number of characters and keyboard buffer. I think it's 198. So let's play with it. Let's do a test. You can just say like TS for test or whatever. You can poke into a memory location. You can kind of test it. Now I showed this before on the Atari, and I'll show it again on the Commodore. So we got line 80. We just take 90 and go back to 80 to repeat it. And we're going to see if it's going to... I forgot to print it actually. My bad. I said go to, but I didn't print nothing. So what we need to do, we need to print TS, and then we need to go to 90. That's what I was trying to do. To see if we're going to access the keyboard in here anywhere. So I'm pressing the keys. Now that's not doing anything. It's one way to test it. Looking for a current key. It's kind of embarrassing that I don't remember where this is. Cassette, tape motor, I/O address. It's either 198. Current key press 203. Let's see what that one does. Well, we're both learning here at this point. See if 203 is going to read the keyboard. And no keys changing there. So I'm pressing the keys and trying to get a response from it, from where they might be read at in ROM or something. Here's flashing the cursor, speeding up the cursor, character under the cursor, cursor on column, maximum length of the cursor, current cursor physical line number. That's just showing where the cursor is stored at. I'm almost ready to go use the joystick now that I can't seem to find this. I'm so sure it's stored in zero page, but it's probably not. Probably my point is it's probably not where I'm looking at right now. I'm thinking it's get next basic text character. Look at that one, 115. 121, lots of current character to be read again. Text of the basic program which is being interpreted. Now that would be it. Now we're getting into, what's the stop key press? It's probably right here. Buffer key. Output tape character priority. Let's stop this stupid thing. Pisses me off. Where is this thing at? There somewhere. Damn it, I thought it was right there. Do this again. Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I'll just give you an idea of what's going on. So if I do, for example, like this. Hello everyone, my name is Steve. I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel where you'll find Commodore 64 and Atari tutorials available for basic programming and assembly language, of course. This series is actually going to focus on more basic programming at this point, since I did more recently start doing some game design with you guys and started, setting up a game design series. I wanted to kind of walk you through some of the basics that you'll probably want to know that will help you during your own game design. So this session is going to focus on creating a little utility that's going to show you how the Ascii characters work on your computer screen. So what I'm doing is I actually had to do my second video earlier because I realized I had typed something in wrong here. But I'll go over and I'll explain this to you, the program, what's going on. So first of all, we'll need to know What is an Ascii character? Okay, so no. An Ascii character is any character you can type on your keyboard here. As an example, anything you could type, anything you can access underneath your keyboard, and anything you can hit on your shift key. Basically anything you can have access to, and even some you don't have access to, those are Ascii characters. So they're actually stored in your computer's ROM, and they're accessed directly through commands inside of BASIC, and I'm going to show you how that works. First I wanted to show you the character set, and I should always show you the book. This is the Commodore 64 system guide. Basically it's your personal computer's owner manual. So what you want to do is go to Appendix D in the back here, and you're going to get a listing of all 255 characters, Ascii characters stored in your Commodore 64. And you're also going to be able to see some that are not Ascii characters you can type, but that you can like clear the screen with and stuff like that. So we'll start with, you see right there it says character 35. Let me get my pen for those who don't know where I'm talking about here. So right here where we see character 35, we're going to start that, or actually let's do 33, and you should see that number character, because that's the first real character you're going to see that doesn't access any of the actual functions like clearing the screen and homing it and moving the cursor and all that stuff and doing character returns. So let's go ahead and I'll show you first of all how that's done here. So if you want to access a character, you can do it one or two ways. Well, there's actually a couple, more than one, two ways. But what I'm going to show you is, first of all, if you want to access like this one and be able to print it to the screen, it's real simple. You just type in print, and I can do a quote there, and you put inside of quotes whatever you want to print to the screen. I think most people probably know that. You know how to type your name. You just put it inside of quotes there. So basically, you're internally representing these characters in Ascii memory. So let me kind of show you what that means. I'm going to use a question mark, which also represents print, guys. And you just type ASC, and you type in, I'll show you, separated by my name here, and I'll show you what the values of these characters are. This is how you can read them underneath to see what they're going to look like. Make sure you always put them in quotes, though. You'll see numbers displayed there. If I did something wrong here, let's see. Right here, I didn't type this right. Ascii. Okay, so now what happened here? Saying I still got an error. Let's see. Ascii S, Ascii T. Oh, right there. You can't have an Ascii outside of the statement. So now we see all the numbers there. A few more there. So let's clear this up so you can see them all here. Okay, so there they are. You're seeing 83, 84, 69, 86. Now, you can probably already guess, but if you look in your book here and you look up those numbers, you're going to see the same thing that you printed with that print statement here. Give me a second to figure out where. Okay, so where this would be stored at here. So it's going to be, I think it's up here somewhere. I have to look at the book again. I can't see it from here, so it's actually right over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look over here. And it's all the way over here. You see right there it says character 86 is the V. 83, let's go to 83. 83 is the S. Obviously 84 is the T. Now if we go to 69, which I think is way down here somewhere. Have to hold it up my hand a little bit more to see it there. 69 is the E. And you can kind of get the habit of it. 86 is the V. That's basically how these are being represented whenever you type in something inside of a print statement. That's what your computer is doing. It's actually representing them to the screen that way. Now another thing we have is something called screen memory. So if we type in 1024, that's going to represent right up here, the upper left-hand corner of your Commodore 64 screen. Now if we want to be able to get our name in the upper corner, first I'll put the S to show you. Now, the first thing you'll notice, you'll say, hey, that's not the S. That's right, because when you access into memory and you're trying to access the alphabet characters, you actually have to subtract 64 to be able to get that valued character. Now, I forget the reason why that is. Maybe the way they're stored and set up. I'm sure somebody's going to respond to that, though, but we'll find out. So you subtract 64. I just remember you always have to subtract, if I could ever type this thing in, minus 64 there, and you'll be able to get the same characters. So to kind of cheat on this, I'm just going to set up a variable here and call it 64. And then we're going to kind of poke them in this way. So let's do it in a little program here first. I know I've already got my little program here, so I'm going to we'll do it at the top, maybe like 32 here. And we'll set up V. I should have probably done this program first, but I was originally starting this other one. So V equals 64, and we're going to use this line and maybe the next one to poke in everything. And then what you do is you take the Ascii character like you saw earlier, the letter, and you're going to subtract it from V, because remember, V is now 64. It's just a faster way instead of having to type in 64. And you just type the next memory location, 1025, and the next letter, subtract it from V. Excuse me while I try to figure out where my subtract is again. It's the plus key. It's like reversed. So plus is the subtract. Okay, so let's make sure I did that right. Ascii V minus V, that looks good. 1026, comma Ascii. The next character in line is the V. And I'm going to go down to another line here, maybe 35 or something. And we'll do poke 1027, Ascii character V minus V. Not to get confused, this is just the printing the Ascii character V, and then that's still going to be our variable 64. So remember, it's still going to subtract 64 from that. And then we're going to subtract our next line here. And then we're going to do the E again, obviously, and subtract it from V. Now, if I've done this correctly, it should print my name in the upper corner, as well as a few other things here. Let me just stop it here so you don't see the other part of the program. So we'll run it there. What did I do wrong? 35 here. Let's see. Print V is 64. 1027. Just taking a look here, seeing what it may not be like in Ascii E minus V. V is 86. Okay, so Ascii 1027, Ascii V minus V, 1028, comma. Oh, I did a peak. It's like a force of habit. I don't know where that came from. I've always liked using peaks in the past, so let's clear the screen here a little bit so you can kind of see this. There you go. Now you saw it printed my name at the top of the screen. So remember, it's just subtracting those values on the end to get the name printed. So it does the same thing. Okay, so that's how those kind of work together. For those who want to know about coloring the screen, I don't want to go too far off base here, but I can show you how to color it real quick. Well, not real quick, but you'll want to basically take the value 1000. We'll just do a few characters. 1024. Then you add 54272 to it, and then you just do the same thing you kind of did before. Well, excuse me. That's actually the character. You set the value of color memory, because color memory is going to be 16 different colors. So if you type in poke 646,2, you can kind of see what color it is. It's going to be red. So it's going to take the first character and put it in red. And then you take the second character. And again, you can just change them individually that way. And we can do the third character. Remember, this is only this color screen memory. So this is not needing the Ascii character inside of there. It's just whatever value that character is going to be. So if you type in 3 here, you'll see what color it is. It's like a green. I think 7 is a yellow. So now you see those things in different colors. Again, I have to clear the screen. You won't see it. It goes off the screen too fast. What did I do wrong here? Oh, I had to stop in there. Remove the stop. It stopped before it got to that line. So clear it again. And there they go. Now you see the colors being represented. Because of those are the two different locations we did. Now if you type print 1024 plus 54272, you'll see 55296, and that's the start of color screen memory. So that also means you could type in poke 55296, a value, whatever value you want to use. We'll use like 9, and you'll still be able to change the color there. See how it changes it? But if you add the screen color to it, that's how it kind of figures out where the next color is going to be on the screen and all that stuff. So that's basically how you change them. And keep track of to get your color screen looking really pretty, basically. Okay, let's see. Let's get back to the programming example here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these lines now. We don't really have need of these lines anymore. I just wanted to kind of demonstrate for those people who don't know how the Ascii characters are displaying things on the screen. So also, I did this stuff earlier here for my own examples. I'll show you later what this was. I was trying to find out where the character graphics were stored. So this is how you read them in the screen memory and be able to tell which character is being pressed. Before we go into that, let's go explain this line right here. This right here, this heart character is clearing the screen. And what you do is you just type in, question mark is a shortcut for print, or if you want to just type in print, you can do that. You hold down on your PC, you hold down the Shift key and you press the home button, the actual home button that's over there to the left, you know, where the return is and all that stuff, or the enter key, and it'll produce that. And now if I do it intermediate here, it'll clear the screen there. Of course, I added another character in there, but let's do it one more time here. Just kind of sloppy typing it in. There we go. So it clears the screen there. So now if you type in Ascii, and then you put in that heart character, you'll be able to see the value for it. 147. So if you type in print CHR strings 147, it does the same thing. It clears the screen. Because that's where, in this book I showed you earlier right here, that's where it's stored out in Ascii memory there, or Ascii, the Ascii character set. It's, I don't know if it's on this page or not. I think it's on the next page. Oh, it's on the next page. Let me go to the next page. I'm looking at the wrong one here. That's where the 147 is clearing your screen. It's right here. I'm going to try to get it close so you can kind of see it there. See right there? It says clear and home. So that's how you clear the screen, is with that memory location 147, which does the same thing when you type print CHR strings, or just when you type it in with the regular Ascii character. So that's what we're doing on that line. We're clearing the screen, and I put an example so you can see it beside it there. The next line, poke 53280, is just changing the border color. So if you type that in intermediate mode here, it just changes the border color to whatever value of the 16 registers you want to access in your Commodore 64's memory. Okay, now the next lines here, pay attention. These are positioning the cursor. This is a special way to do it on the Commodore 64, is you always have to type in the 214 before the 211. If you don't, I tried it earlier, it never seems to work proper. So you type in 214, 8, that's going to basically count down 8 characters, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and position the cursor there. And then you type in print, and it looks at the next one, 211, 12. So let's do this again one more time here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops. Let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then over here, you want to count over 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's where it's going to first position the first graphic character, wherever you print inside this print statement on your screen. So I put in print CHR Ascii. It's going to print everything inside the Ascii quotes here. So it's going to print the text you put inside those quotes. And then outside of that, you put a semicolon, MX, and it's going to append a variable there, which is a numerical variable, so that we can start printing a value. Because what I want to do with this program is set up a little utility where you can press the keyboard and you can kind of move through the character set, just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at in memory. Okay, now this next line where it says print CHR strings MX, I wanted to kind of show you what the CHR strings does, so people want to know about that. Now the CHR string is, you saw me do that earlier with 147 when I cleared the screen there. It's a way of accessing those Ascii characters internally. So if I type in print CHR strings, let me give you an example first. We'll do the Ascii character and I'll show you. So we'll do the Ascii character for the number sign, right? Okay, so it's 35. Now if we want to be able to print that to the screen, we just type print CHR strings 35, and then we got the number sign. So basically it's just looking in that Ascii character code in Appendix D in the Commodore book and printing it to the screen there. So that's how you get the characters printed. So you can start printing your own graphics that way. Now next I'm going to show you this location 203. Now notice here I put TS equals peak 203. So what this is doing is it's looking at inside of your Commodore 64's memory, and this is actually stored in what's called the coordinate, or they call it the matrix coordinate of current key pressed. So this basically tells you the next key that you're pressing on the keyboard. We type in print TS, which is going to read this memory location right here in memory and see what value is stored there, and go to 80. Back to here is going to print TS to the screen. So if I run it here, actually I got it stopped again. Let me get rid of the stop statement. Stop will stop at the line that you stop it at. So let's just run it again here. And you see that 64 being printed. Now when I press the keys, like I'm pressing 8, it shows a 10. I'm pressing different keys, it's changing the value. So it's showing me which key is going to access that memory location, or that Ascii character in memory through that memory location. So what I want to do is I want to look this up right now. And as an example, I want to use the arrow keys. I don't know, I have a habit of using arrow keys. Maybe we could do something different. Maybe people don't like the arrow keys. We could just do like, well, everybody has arrow keys on the keyboard. Let's just do like the numpad or something. We'll do like the 4. Actually, is mine even turned on? Well, you know what? It doesn't even access the numpad keyboard. Of course, because it's not looking at those numbers. It's only looking at the numbers on the top of the actual numbers where you shift them at. So it will basically have to probably do the arrow key. So 2 is the left arrow key. Actually, they're the same, so that ain't going to work either. That's interesting. Okay, so let's try different keys. Those are not corresponding. Let's do, I was going to do these originally like the greater or less than symbols. So 47 and 44, those got two different values there. So 47 is left and 44 is the other way. So 47, 44. Let's see. So 90, 47, 44. It's going to make a note here so I know what's what. Okay, so we're going to basically access those characters in memory now. Now remember, we peeked into them right here so we know which key we're pressing. So we're going to set a condition that says if TS, because it's already peeked into the location, is equal to 47, which means we press that less than arrow key, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to increment the value here of our MX so we can kind of see the next character in memory. So MX equals MX plus 1. And what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't go too far. So we're going to say MX is greater than a certain value, then we've gone too far into the character set and we can make it flip back or stop or do whatever we want at that point. So I'm kind of looking over the characters here and see where they kind of end at before all the colors start coming out. So 127 looks like that'd be the limit. So 127, then we'll just make it stay at 27, 127. And we'll do the same thing for the other key. And for those who want to know, so I'll just put a note here. Pressed the, I'll put it in quotes here, it's this key right here. It's the comma key. If you also look underneath it, it shows the greater and less than key, so I just use those. So it's the comma key right there. So we access the comma key, and then we're going to do the other one. Let's say it was 44. Yes, 44 right there. I see it. So 44 is the next one. And we're going to do the opposite. We're going to move it backward and scream through the Ascii memory. And we want to make sure it doesn't go less than 33, because remember 33 was that other character. Anything else is not going to show characters on the screen and wouldn't be of any use to this program. So I'm just going to leave it at 33. So now that kind of traps it into showing only those characters on the screen. And we want to be able to position them and go back to that line there so we can kind of see what's going on here. So if I've done this correctly, it should work properly. So we'll go to 60. So what we're doing is we're jumping back here in the program. And we're jumping back to this line here, which positions our cursor on the screen so that we can see the next MX value as we increment through them. And if it works correctly, it should display the next MX value. But I have a feeling something's going to go wrong here, but let's see. So if we press those keys, oh, there it goes. You can see it changing. I did it perfect. Just what I wanted. It's going a little faster because it's pretty on speed. But you can kind of see I can kind of scroll through them. See, it goes up to 33. And as I hold it down here, it'll only go up to 127. This is a way of kind of looking at the keys yourself to see what they look like instead of having to look them up in the character set. I used to do this back in the days, and I just realized I need to clear the other line here because it's printing in the extra characters beside it. So if you want to clear out the garbage, you just take it right beside it here. And you just add some spaces in. That'll get rid of it. Kind of like that. That'll add spaces after it. You have to do the same thing for this one. Actually, this one's already got the spaces in it, doesn't it? I think it was the other one. Let's just go back and look here. Or it wasn't this one. It was the other one. This one isn't going to print only one character on the screen. So it was the line 60 is the one we were concerned with. So 60, because we were counting over the limit of numbers there. Yeah, reverse these. Let's see, this one is going... Yeah, I just reversed those for some reason. Alright, let's change these numbers. 47... I had them backward. That's why it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. Okay, there we go. Now it's going down to 33. So if I press the comma key, it starts at 33, but it won't go past 33 because I said not less than 33. And if we hold it down here, you'll see obviously they're changing just like before. And if I go backward, hopefully it'll erase it this time. No, it didn't erase the 0 beside it. Okay, let's see why it's not erasing. I'm trying to get it to erase. If you look over here, it's saying 980 because basically it's just leaving that other character on the screen. So we need to erase that garbage after it. I thought this was going to do it right here. See, print CTR, the valued number. Maybe I need more spaces in it. Let's see. I don't know what that's going to do. We'll see. That might do it, maybe. It's not positioning the cursor. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm getting it to erase these other characters after the 90. It shouldn't be printing anything else on the screen. You know, trying to erase those graphics after it. Might be because I put this thing here. Might be the reason. Let's see. I think you don't want to do too many semicolons. Let me see if I'm correct on that. It's a learning curve for me sometimes too. Well, by golly, this is going to really bug me. See, it shouldn't be saying character 87. It should be erasing. I'm trying to get it to erase the character right after that. You see where it says MX here? Right after here, it should be putting in a space here. There might be another way to do it though. Trying to think here. So if I'm print CTR Ascii MX, I put in the spaces. I don't know. Let me just add values here and see where they're ending up at. I want to kind of see where they're positioning at. So I'm just going to stick some letters in there, kind of see where they're going at. If they're not positioning on the right line, that may be why it's not showing up. Let's see. Ah, see, they're positioning away from the 33. That's why it wasn't clearing. That's kind of why you can do your little test. So this little semicolon is pushing it over. For some reason it's pushing it over there. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, it's still not going to erase it because it's not anywhere near the number there. Let's see if it erased it this time. Yeah, it still didn't. See, this letter right here is never changing because it's not printing out that line. Now we could just manually do it too. That's why sometimes I hate using the 214 and the 211. They don't always do a very good job, but we could also just go in here, the 65, and just say poke. Kind of position the cursor there and make it erase, force it to erase it by placing it right on top of the other one. So let's see, I had the other one at 20, let's see, 12, 13, 14. Maybe 19 or 20 might do it. I'm just going to print a test letter here again. And we're going to erase the other line this time, the other part of the 60 that we didn't need here. Take this out. And now it's not over far enough now. See, it landed right here, so we need to count 1, 2, 3, go over 4 more basically. But you did see it move the cursor there, so if we go over 4 more, I'm going to try 29, see if that does it. Alright, so what line did I change here? Let's see. Oh, I changed the wrong one. I changed this one. I meant to change this one. Okay, so 20, 1, 2, like 23 or 24, something like that. Okay, so stuck a B there, so I'm almost in the right spot. It's actually 23, I think. I'm going to put a spacer once I get to the right spot. There we go. Now it's right beside the 33. Now I can print this and make this like space or something, and it should work. Fingers crossed here, guys. I don't know why I did this. This should be 25 again. So let's see if it works. Find out. See, it's positioning, it's putting it right on top of it. I need to move it over 1 more space to get it. So it's 24. But you see it's actually working. It's erasing that character position now like we want it to. Kind of a shortcut I had to take to get it to work. Oh, looks like it's still not working, huh? It's leaving a trail of characters there now. These are actually called bugs, and they can creep up in your program. They can be a little irritating at times. I have to see where it's positioning the cursor at this time. Make sure it's in the right spot again. So ABC. Oh, it's not even positioning that one in the right character's place. Because that character will become another number later. So what I was trying to do earlier is I was trying to append it so it would erase all the characters after it. But apparently this one isn't going to work very good. We could still erase them, but it's going to be blinking the last character. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and leave it. But I think you get the general idea behind it. Another thing we could do is we could just clear the screen here as a shortcut. I know there's another memory location you can use that doesn't really run into this problem. I didn't want to spend too much time on this, but I wanted to show you that there is a way to really position those characters and erase them. You can also do 32, that's a space character. Remember, it's the Ascii character again. So hopefully you're learning something about the Ascii characters, and this is teaching you some viable lessons on it. Again, those are how you access the internal Ascii characters. It's just a real simple program there. So now I know I said I started this off talking about the screen memory. That's what I really wanted to show you. I wanted to show you, for those who want to really start producing your own graphics on the screen, you want to know how to do it in screen memory. So this time we're going to poke it into screen memory. You saw me first replaced it here into regular Ascii memory. Now we're going to do, it's a little bit easier if you use it actually in screen memory. Remember how I showed you earlier, if you type in 1024 and whatever value you type there is going to show at the top of the screen there. You can kind of see it changing there. If I clear it, you might be able to see it. So there you got B, C, whatever. You put in that screen memory location. So we're going to set up a screen memory location here. What you're going to do is we're going to kind of calculate where the cursor is going to end up on. Now I do have a book here also that I could probably set a calculate. I could probably just look up the screen codes for it. If I could remember where I put that book. I don't think I brought it over here. It was like the really... I didn't want to have to get back up, but it's all the way across the room. I can't reach it there, but it's going to show. I can still calculate it, though, because I know 1024 starts over and it's 40 by 40. So what I always do is say 1024 plus 40, to show you a trick here. Excuse me, trying to find the plus key again here. Plus 40, and then that will show you where exactly that's going to position the cursor for the next value here. You see it's right there, so it positions on the next line. So if you add 40, it's always going to go down to the next line. So what we want to do is we want to take half of 40, which is 20, 1044, and I'll show you what that does when I do it here. See, this is about the center of the screen here, all the way down. So we want to kind of center that to the screen or pretty close to wherever we want that Ascii character to appear over here. So I don't know exactly where it is in memory, to be able to tell you the truth. We can kind of guess at it here. What I usually do is I take 1044, and here's a way to calculate. You say 40 times, where's my times? How many lines down you want it to appear? So 1364 is how many lines down. So if I type in poke there, you see it kind of moved it down the screen there. That's how you position on the screen. Remember, they're always by 40, so if you take 40 and multiply it by 8, you got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how you get it down there. And remember, it's still at that memory location 1044 because it's only 20 across, and this is a 40 width. So let's try 1364. Let me kind of run the program to see if I can kind of figure out 1364. It's probably pretty close. Let's see, 1364, 2. Ooh, I was pretty close. So if I go actually another 40 here, Go down to the next line there. Now it would be positioned right directly in this space. And then we would just count over here to get it right here. So you just say 40. Now we got 40. So if you just say 1364 plus 40, I meant to say print 1364 plus 40. And that will show you the value 1404. So if you type poke 1404, 3, you'll see it's right there. And you just count over 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's probably 9. 1409, comma, whatever. There it is. It's 1409. So 1409, remember that number. 1409, I'll repeat it to make sure I don't forget it, is where we're going to position the next screen character. So I'll just write it down here. I'll just say screen memory. So 1409 is where we're going to start positioning our new character in place where you saw this original one. So instead of having to print, we're going to turn this line off right here for the Ascii character, and we're going to use the poke instead. And poke is a little bit faster too. Nice thing about poke is it accesses things directly faster than it would to an Ascii character to the screen. It's just the way the Commodore 64 accesses things in memory. It accesses things faster with peeks and pokes than it does directly with the print. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it has to look up the character and all that stuff. Takes a little bit of time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change that to access screen memory here. So I'm going to put it like it's 72. And I say poke 1409, comma, MX. So it should do the same thing. It should allow us to change that character. There you go. And there's changing the character. So at this time it's doing it through a poke. You probably can't tell it, but it is actually faster. So now hopefully you get the idea of pokes and all that and how to position it. Now next we'll change this into a graphic color. Now I did show you that earlier, so I'll show you here again. So if you need me to reiterate this, you just basically take the value of where you're storing that memory location. The easiest way to say 1409 plus 54272, comma, whatever color value you want to change it to. And now we got the color screen memory. Now it's yellow. Now it's always going to show everything in yellow. Whatever value you want it to be, you just change it to that number. Another thing we could do here is, I'm going to do something here real quick. I'm going to look for another key. I wanted to show you how we could change some other things here. Have some more fun with this program, basically. So I'm going to set up down here, print, peak, 204. I'm looking for the next character memory, so I'm just going to go to this line. This is how you can always test what's going on in that memory location. It's printing it. Oops, I need to go to that line. What am I doing here? I go to 130 so I can jump to that line there. So what did I do wrong here? Print peak, 140, go to 130. Oh, 203, I did 204. Huh. I was actually trying to flash the cursor. That's what that next location does. Okay, so there we go. So what I'm going to do is, like, spacebar would be 60. We'll use 60 to do it now. We'll just take out our new lines. And we'll add in our new lines here. So I just went to like 200 or something. So we can add some new lines in here. Take this one out. Equals 60. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say CO, which represents color. And we're going to increment through color memory and just make it flip back over. So I'll show you how to change that to any color you want it to. Now remember, CO is greater than 15. That means you're only going through 15 colors. Starting with 0, 16 colors, you want to flip it back to 0. Equals 0. So see right there, we're going to take this variable and we're going to stick it up here inside of our color memory. So we can change this variable as we're going through memory. And I'll show you on the screen here. I'll position another character here. We'll use this line, matter of fact, to do it since we're not doing anything else with this line. I'll move this over a little bit more and show you what's going on so you can kind of see what that value is doing. Let's say like 30 or something, and we'll just say CO. So you can kind of see what's going on with that CO variable. I think people like that. What did I do wrong here? 200. Oh, I got that still in there. I went to the wrong line, so I need to go to 70, was it? Okay, so 70. Now see how it's changing as I press the space bar, it's changing the color. And it's showing you the memory location it's changing through. Of course, it's not erasing them properly again there. There's another way to position it too. Maybe I'll show you in this one. It's just a little bit more different. What you do is you just basically home the cursor. Let's do that because I think I'm getting really a little irritated with this thing not wanting to position correctly. So we're going to use this line, and we're going to position on the same line. So what we're going to do is we're going to print, hit the home key. Don't shift it, just press and hit the home key. And you're going to count down like you're using this 214 and this 211. So what we do is we go down 8. So you hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's down. And we want to go right 24. Is it 24? Let's see. Or 30. So you have to hold the shift key. Let's see, shift key. I think you just press the arrow, but let's try it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 9, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 30. So it should position it over 30. And then right after that, you just print in the value there that you want to show in that location. So let's see how that does. Oh, I moved it. I need to go down one more. But you see how it moved it? Very similar to what I did with the 217 and all that, or the 211 and 214 earlier. So I only need to do is add one more of these in there. Oh, I know I forgot to add one of these down ones, so I probably went too far now. Let's see. I moved it over a little bit more, but anyways, it'll still do the same thing there. Okay, so I wanted to see if I could erase the screen after it. That was my whole goal here. So see if we can kind of position it inside of there and erase it this time. Yeah, this doesn't want to erase that number beside it, does it? I'm sure somebody's going to figure that one out and contact me about that, but the whole idea there is it's still, you can see what value the CO is showing on the screen there. And if you just type here, print CO to show you the variable, so that's 11 right there. I run the program. It'll show you the memory locations that are changing as we press the cursor. The space bar. That's the 1 right there. So 1 is the white color. So hopefully this will get you started on that. Maybe later I'll figure out why this is not positioning properly. On the Atari, you always use a semicolon. It should position immediately afterward. I don't know why this one does not want to position. It seems to add extra spaces or something in between there. But you have learned about a couple different ways to position stuff. So that's how you position. You home it, and then you count down how many over and how far you're moving over the right key. So when you saw these cues, that's just me pressing the down arrow key. And then this one over here is representing the the right key combination to position that character over 30 spaces. That's pretty common on the Commodore. They do those a lot in the old days where you would use these and position text all over the screen and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that works. So now we saw it in screen memory. Let's turn the screen black here a little bit and make it a little bit more pretty. I like the darker color screen, so that's kind of in black there. Now you can see the color changing again there. That's kind of pretty on black. I always thought it did. I noticed we didn't go back to the center line to change the 33, so I need to make it go to this line. So I only had it go into this line. Earlier had it go into 70, but I need to go back to 65 so we can see the other character changing as well. Or was it 60? Go to 60. So now, sorry about that, guys. I wasn't paying attention. Now if I press it, you'll see it. There it goes. It's changing now. It's changing everything. So I see that one's kind of flashing now because we've actually positioned the character in there in that location. So it's erasing whatever that character value is in that location there. That's kind of how you get animation to work too. That's how you position characters on the screen. Now, I'm going to take this a step up further. Hopefully this isn't too bad. I'm going to show you guys how to move a character around on the screen. Since we're already on to the subject of positioning, characters on the screen, I'll show you how to move this little character around. We'll need to set up a few different locations here to move it. Let's see, we've already got the location in memory. MX is basically what the value is poking into memory. Remember, 1409 is the position of the space where it's going to appear at, so we're going to need some new variables here. So I'm going to say, we'll call it PX, like position X. Position X equals, we want to start it at 0 because we're not adding anything to it yet, and we're going to start this one obviously at 0, but we're going to move through it as we press the keys, joystick or whatever. I'm so tempted to want to move it up to the joystick next. But since we're doing the key combination, I guess we'll just leave it with something representing moving the arrow keys around, moving the cursor around with the arrow keys or something like that, and trying to see which keys to use. The common days they would use like the W, A, D, and the X keys because they were pretty close together. I guess we could just do that for people who really want to go back to the basics. So we'll need to set up that line to check the keyboard again, so I can get the values there. So print peak 203, go to 210. So I'm going to write them down here so I know which ones I'm using. So we're looking for the W key, and that's the 9. So W is going to represent the up because it's at the top. So W is 9. And then we got underneath that A, which represents the left, and A is 10. And then the D is the right, which is 18. And then let's see, WD is X. They always use X. I think if I not properly, it's X, because X is like right below the A and the D there. It's pretty close. So it's 23. So those are all the values we need to be able to move the cursor. So let's get this one, these lines erased again. Now that we got our values. And now we're going to add some more if statements because we're now going to be checking for the W key. So I'll put like here, press W to show it kind of, I just shortcut ran it there. Okay, so what I was trying to say was pressed. I was trying to hit the shift key and it ran the program. Press W. So this is going to show you the W key. If TS equals 69, or is it 9? 9. Then that's the W key. Then that means we're pressing it up, so we need to move PY. So when you're moving in screen memory, now, unlike the Sprite where you would just increment it by minus whatever, 1, 2, or 3, however many areas you want to move it, because remember screen memory is 40 across, we always have to subtract 40 from it. So what we're going to say is PY equals PY minus 40. I'll show you how to trap it on the screen in a minute so it doesn't go off the screen, but right now I just wanted to show you, for demonstration purposes, what these are doing. So this one's going to be the down, so let me say, put a remark on here, pressed X. And then that's going to be, you don't have to put spaces in here either, I just did just so you could kind of read it a little bit better. 23 is the down. I noticed I didn't put it then in this one. So that gave me an error message. Okay, so then PY, can you guess what, if you're going down, like we subtracted it earlier, obviously this time you would add to it. So you add 40 to it. So we want to go backward and forward. Let's look up the keys. I'll show you them again here. So we pressed A. And the value for A is 10. Then we just need to subtract PX from itself one time because we're going to be on the same line. We're not needing to go up and down, up and below it, because it's not 40 across. It's only going to be staying in the same line. So it's only going to be incremented by one going in left and right direction. So you just say PX equals PX minus 1. And you do the same thing for the other key, except we obviously add it, which was D. TS equals 18. And PX equals PX plus 1. So now we have screen memory moving, and it's going to be able to move these characters, but we need to be able to take these PY and PXs and stick them somewhere so that they're going to be affected by the screen scroll, screen moving. So either you should take 1409, because this 1409 right now is representing, and I actually did this backward. I added a PY and a PX. I should have just left one value alone in it. It's kind of confusing. I was thinking of the sprite. So you just basically say PX. We'll get rid of the PYs and turn those into PXs, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So let's go back and change these to PXs. Remember, it's all on the same location. We don't need a separate PY. Now, if we were doing sprites, we would, because they're set up in different locations. Like 53248 is horizontal, and you would use like PX for that, and 53249 is vertical, so you'd use PY. So in this case, we're only going to use PX because we're only going to be moving around that cursor in screen memory. So let's see how we did here. Oh, I needed to use my go-to again, I forgot. So we add a new line here. Go to, once again, we're just going to go all the way back to 60 because we're going to be scrolling through memory there. Now, we should be able to move that character around. See how it's moving now? It's actually moving wherever we're moving in screen memory, but we didn't erase the character above it, so it's going to look like it's drawn on the screen. But you can see it's moving it. As I'm pressing D, it moves over here. Okay, now if we want to erase it, all we have to do is clear it with 32, which is a space character. So I'll do that right down here. Usually you do somewhere toward the bottom so it doesn't affect the movement too much. There's like a little flashing character. So I usually just, what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this line, 1409, this whole line here. So 72, we'll kind of repeat it down at 250 here. So 72, just go like this and just insert it in here. Or you can type it in, whatever you want to do there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change this to a 32. The screen color memory, you can leave that. It's not going to affect anything. You probably don't even need it, but I just left it in there anyway so I won't confuse people. Now we should be able to hopefully animate it, move it without, did something wrong again. Let's see. Probably not position it in the right place here. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. Because we've already removed PX into a new location here, it's already found a different position down here for us. So PX is now different than the value it was here earlier because we incremented it at this line. So you actually want to do it above here, or you can also make it remember the previous position. I've actually done this, and this is actually real effective too when you're running up against a wall and you want to make it look like the player's hitting a wall. I did this in one of my Atari videos before, but what you do is you just say something like 95, and you recall, we'll just use RC for recall, the previous position of X, which is PX, and you just want to save it back to whatever it was originally. So this is going to become RC. Hopefully it doesn't confuse too many people, but this is just remembering what the cursor was here before PX changed it. So hopefully that works properly here. There it goes. Now it's moving it. See, now it's not. Now it looks like you're animating it. It's like it's moving around. So I can move it all the way around the screen and where I want it. Now what I wanted to show you to do earlier is you need to be able to trap it in the screen, because if you go off the screen here, you're going to start scrolling into other parts of screen memory and eventually going to crash your program if you go into the wrong areas that shouldn't be accessed, or that might throw the wrong values in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to trap it up here, and we're going to figure out where the PX location is here. So this is moving it up. So we want to say if PX is less than whatever this part of screen memory is here. So we're going to kind of have to calculate where it is here. I don't remember earlier where it was. Let's go back and say 1409. We'll kind of position the cursor here. Say poke 1409, comma 2. I'm going to say poke 1409. Now I'm going to do a little bit of math here. 40. Let's see. Was it 40 minus 8? I'm trying to remember how I would have done it. 40 times. So I'm trying to go backward each time by 40. Oh, minus. Okay, so I get minus 40 times the number of lines we want to go backward. So we're going to increment it backward now. Oh, I think I went forward. Yeah, I used the wrong combination here again. So there we go. So it's 1089. So you can take poke 1089, comma 2. Pretty close. I think it was 9, I guess. So right there is going to represent the top. Poke 14. So that's the line we don't want to go above that. So 1049 is the limit of screen memory up. So if 1049 is less than 1049, then PX equals 1049. So we want to keep it at that point in memory so it doesn't end up going further into screen memory. We're going to do the same thing with the other one, but we're going to be checking the values down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to check this next one here for PX plus 40. So we're going to kind of position a cursor again here and kind of figure out where it is and kind of draw it on screen, since I don't have a screen map here to look at. So 1049, 1409. Yeah, 1409 is where I had it before here. So say poke 1409, comma 2. And we're going to calculate where it might be if it goes too far down on the screen. So we'll say plus, this time because we're going down, 40 to go down to the next line, times however many lines down you want to go. And I know it can't go beyond 2023, so I'm just going to keep playing with this until I see where the values end up at. Okay, so that's not all the way down there. That's a little too far. That would go into screen memory, start overwriting probably your basic program. Never a good idea. Just another video, I actually did that accidentally, and I locked up the computer. So 17 is too far. I think it's 16. 2049, that doesn't sound right either. I think it's 15. That's it. So it's 15. So 2009 is the limit down. 2009. So if you say it's greater than 2009, then PX equals 2009, because we don't want it to go any further down below screen memory there. So I'm going to save this program just in case it crashes. We don't want to have to start all over again here. I noticed I erased the name of the program, so Ascii test, whatever you want to call it. Attach a disk image here. I didn't attach one yet to it, so I was getting kind of full. I don't want to save over that. I guess I'm just going to create a new image here. Ascii character or something like that. Okay, that's good enough. So now we have Ascii character. Where did it go? I didn't see it here. Alright, so let's just do character plot or something like that, maybe. Character plot, we good? Oops, great image. I don't even see it here. It says it attached it. Oh, I forgot to attach it. That's what I forgot to do. So you have to say down here, character plot, create image, attach it. Maybe it's too big. Well, this one doesn't have anything, but I'm just going to save to this one. I don't know what this is, but we'll just use that one. Okay, so save Ascii plot or something, whatever you want to call it. Good enough for me. Because now we're plotting on the screen. Okay, so let's run it and let's test our positioning. Make sure it doesn't go down beyond the bottom of the screen. Yep, I think I went too far. See what happened? Look, it erased our program because it went into the basic memory of your computer. So that's why you gotta be real careful when you're moving the cursor around on the screen. That's why I saved it, so we can reload it here. Hopefully I haven't screwed up the ROM or anything here, or the RAM. So now we got our program back in memory, so that's why it's real important to make sure you know what you're doing when it comes to screen memory. Okay, let's put it right there and see where PX is. I think I know what I did wrong. So right there, I was trying to say is PX greater than 20. No, 600 is what we want to make it say. My bad. I was thinking of screen memory, but you actually need to be able to figure out where PX is because it's adding to that value. So if it's greater than 600, then that means we reached the bottom. So I learned something new here too. So now we're at the bottom of the screen with 600. And we do the same thing with PX on the top and kind of figure out where it is once you move it all the way up. Where are you at? Hopefully I didn't just write over it again. I think I just did. Yeah, I did. Let's load it back again here. I'm going to save it this time to stop writing over my program. So 600. Okay, so now we're going to save it again just in case something goes wrong with it again. I couldn't see where it was moving it earlier, so let's see if I move it up. Where's it at? For some reason it keeps positioning PX in the wrong spot and erasing everything here. It says it was at 1047. That's interesting. It's less than 1049. PX equals 1049. It's greater than 600 and PX equals 600. Okay, let's try something different here. Let's move it over this way this time. Now let's try moving it up again. It's doing something when it's doing something to the PX for some reason here. It's 1047. Test and bug, test and debug. That's how you learn. That's what game design is all about, guys, and designing your own programs. So we're testing the key here, just the W key, minusing it by 40. 1409 plus PX, less than 1049. Go to 60. The strangest thing is I didn't change anything in here, so I don't know why it's saying that. If it's less than 1049, I think it's trying to position it in the wrong spot. Let's just go ahead and take this out so we can kind of see where it's at. See if we can get it to move up now. There it goes. It was positioning somewhere where it probably shouldn't have been. Okay, so where's PX now? It's at negative 360 because we're going backwards. So less than, because we just set up moved PX starting at 0, so it's basically moving back from 0. So you're going to have to say less than 360, negative 360, because we said PX at a higher location that wouldn't drop it below 0. So just say less than, and that explains why the other one wasn't working. Then PX equals negative 360 to keep track of where PX is there. So I'm going to save it again just to make sure. Should be fine now. Guess let's move it up again. There it goes. Now it's trapped on the screen. See, now it's not going to erase your program and go anywhere else. If I type list here, we still got our program. It's not going into screen memory anywhere. So now if I move the X down, it should trap it. Hopefully it doesn't go off the screen there. Now it's trapped on the screen. See, I can prove it. I can move it back up and down now. So now it won't leave the screen. There is another flaw though. If you move over here, it's actually going to position it down on the next line instead of staying on the same line. So we need to keep track of how far it's moving left and right. That's real simple. Since we're only incrementing by 1, we only need to keep track of it in each increment of 1, basically. So since we started it here, we just want to kind of figure out where PX is again here. So we just run the program and just move it over and see where it ends up at here. It's going to be some negative value again. Oops, I went too far. Let's do that again. A little touchy on the keyboard there. Forgot it has the buffer in it. So right there. So it's going to be negative 25. So we don't want to go less than negative 25. So we're going to say this to negative 25. If PX is less than negative 25, then PX equals negative 25. And we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to see how far we can move it over this way and see where it ends up so it doesn't end up going down the next line. So where's PX now? It's at 14. So we don't want to go more than 14. Because remember, we centered it in the center of the screen, so it's not physically starting way over here and going from 0 to 40 all the way over here. We have to figure out where it was at that location. Let's say it was 14. So if PX is greater than 14, then PX equals 14. Hopefully that does it correctly here. Let's save it just to make sure it doesn't end up crashing again. Always save before you're going to try anything with memory. Very, very important. You've seen why already, so. Kind of turning into a long video here. I hate to make these things so long, but this should be it right here. Wanted to add a little bit more fun to it. So now let's move it over and see. I noticed it positioned over there when I moved it over. It's doing all kinds of funny stuff now. Say negative 20, PS equals negative 20, 14 equals 14. Let's try this again. Try to see what it's doing. So it seems like when I'm moving down on another line, it's changing everything. So if I press D, it moves it all the way over there. Oh, because it's never going past that line, that's why. That's actually correct here. It's actually never going to go past this line because that's at line 14 right there. Where this would be a different PX position. If I print it here, you'll see it's like 414 there. So probably not a good idea to do it that way. There's other tricks to doing it, but we're going to just turn it off for now. It isn't going to matter. I just wanted to show you that's kind of how you can trap it in between coordinates and location ranges if you want to. So now it'll let me go down to the next line, and the next line, the next line, and so on. It still shouldn't let it go down here. It's going to also position down here. Oh, I noticed it does that too because it's always going to figure out where that PX is on the next line down. So I probably did some calculations wrong here somewhere. I probably have to figure out where it is. But since this video is getting so long, I didn't really want to go too much further. I think you guys get the idea of what's going on here. The whole point of this was to show you how the Ascii characters work with the screen memory, and then how you can see how the Commodore's laid out in color memory and all that stuff too. So hopefully this was informative to you and not too boring. Kind of gets you started on your own little programs. Kind of just, turn this into a little animation or do whatever you want with it. But that's all I wanted to show you for this video. I didn't want to make them too much over a minute here, so I just want to thank you guys for watching. You're welcome to go ahead and subscribe if you're interested in this channel for more Commodore 64 stuff. And stay tuned. Thanks for watching.